SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.
Whether you're looking to start a career with no student loans or change careers to land one of the happiest jobs in the world, yep, that's construction, Build Mississippi can help. Visit buildmississippi.com to learn why a career in the trades deserves another look. Buildmississippi.com. Your future is waiting.
I'm Steve Azar, and I'm on the other side of the microphone, meaning I'm asking the questions this time, and oh, have mercy for the airwaves. I spent 20 years in Music City, wrote and made some hits, traveled the world, and then moved my family back to the birthplace of American music and where the magnolia trees prosper. And now every time I put my feet on Mississippi soil, when I'm off the road, well, I'm at peace. On this show, it's all about hearing the stories straight from the mouths of the friends I've made along the way, their journey to success. Heck, there might be someone on, I don't even know, but you know how us Mississippi types are. We tend to take well to new company. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them. I'm Steve Azar. It's just like that muddy river, moving slow. Ain't no worries, it's how life goes, baby. In a Mississippi Minute.
Hey folks, time for another In a Mississippi Minute. I am Steve Azar reminding you that my pals over in Macon, Mississippi, they do produce the right kind of catfish, homegrown in Mississippi, in Macon, Mississippi, that is. Go to superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org, celebrating the birthplace of America's music. And today I have another treasure from Mississippi doing wonderful things who has made 2/3 of the journey that I made, because mine was completed when I moved back from Nashville to Mississippi. He just has not made that part of it yet, and he's still rocking Nashville. So let me just tell you a little bit about him. He's a very, very prolific hit songwriter. Like I said, originally from Mississippi. He calls Nashville home now, which is a great thing. His impressive career includes songs for artists like Jake Worthington, Lee Blevins, Craig Campbell, and the legendary Marshall Tucker Band. Are you kidding? Most recently, his latest tune, Checkin' In, recorded by Lee Brice and featuring for King and Country, has been making a whole lot of waves out there. Actually, was doing a charity event recently with my buddy Edwin McCain, and we were on the little bus shuttle together, and he was saying Lee was producing Edwin's new record and how much he loved him, and I thought that was cool. Now back to my guest. His creativity doesn't stop at music. He's also the author of a bold new book titled Jesus is Cool, but Christians Creep Me Out. Available now on Amazon, and I'm excited to dive into his journey. We had a little pre-talk before. He used to come see me on the Wednesday nights at the Junction in Marks, Mississippi when we were growing up, and we were growing somewhere, I can tell you. His songwriting prowess, I'm excited to talk to him about that, the inspiration of this book. Let's welcome in Ken Hart. What's up, Ken?
Thank you, Steve, man. What an honor. What a good, great thing to reconnect with you after probably 30 years, I would say.
We're still alive.
We made it. We survived. We survived the Junction and all things in between.
Wow. You know, I wrote a song called The Junction. I wrote one about the GTL. I wrote all those places we played growing up in your neck of the woods. Let's talk about, first of all, your journey. I love to dig into the wonder years. You know, we're all doing our own thing growing up. You played college golf. I want to talk about that. I just had the president of Northwest Junior College on the other day talking about what's going on over there. Really good guy, Dr. Heindel. So let's go back to your wonder years and talk about athletics, music, when it all started to converge, and how you got to Nashville.
So, grew up in Water Valley, as I said earlier. Typical small town Mississippi. A lot of going to church, a lot of playing sports, a lot of hunting and fishing, all the things we do, we grow up doing. And the music part, Steve, was interesting for me. It was a lot of church influence, as most people, you know, that come around. At some point, they talk about that, right?
Sure.
But, man, I didn't discover, like, the depth of what Mississippi has offered the world probably until I was about 18, 19, running the roads in the Delta with my friend Gray from Marks and seeing you play every Wednesday. And And then I found Clarksdale, and then fast forward from that, I met Jimbo Mathis, which opened up a whole lot of things for me. And then I met Luther and Cody Dickinson. I met Jim. I met Duff Dura. And that really threw me into what has come out of our state, our home state.
So you meet them, but are you writing songs before this, or have it on your mind at all?
Well, so here's the deal, and this is the truth, and I'm happy they just asked Steve Earle to be a member of the Opry this past weekend.
Wow, that's awesome! Yeah,
and his first record, Guitar Town, that's the defining moment for me. And that record came out in '86. He was opening for Hank Jr. on that tour, and they played Tad Smith at Ole Miss, and I left after Steve set. It stirred me up that much. And I had to go buy that CD, and I had to get into those songs. And that's really what did it, man. And it's been interesting. It's been an interesting journey, because later on I got to know him and, those kind of things. So that's what started it all for me, was that record. And I still think it's one of the best records that's ever been made.
One of the best records that's ever been made. There's absolutely no doubt. That was a defining moment in his career, but it, like you said, the influence and impact it had on you, well, that says it all.
Yeah, it certainly. I've been writing poems since I was a kid.
Okay, now we're talking.
Yeah, and I didn't know what that was, right? I would just get these thoughts, and I would write these things down. And, where I grew up and the family I grew up in, creative things were not high on the priority list.
I get it.
Not as high as being a football player and a baseball player and working in the cotton fields and working in the auto parts store and all that kind of thing. So it took me until I was about 24, quite frankly, until I really sat down and started writing songs. And I was living in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and I met this cat over there who's originally from Monticello, Arkansas, right across the river from you, named Jed Clampett.
Sure. Jed Clampett used to play up there all the time.
Yeah. And I met him, and he not only did he move my writing forward, but he moved my guitar playing forward. He spent a lot of time with me, teaching me scales. And then I wound up playing in his band for 3 years.
Wow. So what years was that?
That's going to be 94, 95, 96.
That is really interesting to me. So my wife went to the University of Arkansas, and I make the joke that I stole her off the shoulders of Sigma Chi, which I did. And he's okay with it still to this day.
Yeah,
and we're friends. But my band used to play there a lot, and my daughter ended up going to school there as well. My sister-in-laws lived there. So, my wife's from Conway, and her family, Nabholz Construction, is a pretty big name there. Well, so I get that, but I remember a lot of times, a lot of my, like my brother-in-law and a lot of the friends there, they all loved Jed. So they probably were seeing you play.
Yeah. My first official gig on stage that was in a public place and not a private thing was at George's.
Yep. Okay. Was it down in the front room?
Yep.
I got to tell you something. I was there. I got to tell you, I was there that night in the front room when was it just two of y'all or three? What were you playing?
It was a 4-piece back then. I was just playing rhythm guitar and singing harmonies.
I may have seen him just do 2-piece with bass and him.
Yeah,
I think is what I saw.
That was he and his brother.
Yeah, that's the gig I saw.
Yeah, but it was Thanksgiving night in '96, and my grandfather had died, so I'd been in Mississippi the week before for the funeral, so I didn't come home for Thanksgiving, and he just decided to put me on stage for the first time, and being Thanksgiving, it was packed because a lot of families were in town, and he was the thing over there for a long time. And, man, I got to do some great stuff with him and meet a lot of interesting people through that. But that's where my writing took off, was playing his original songs every night. And I remember the first song that I wrote, I laid down to go to bed one night, and it just came out, and I thought I was losing my mind. I didn't know what was happening.
Well, yeah, you were.
And I got up. It was like 1 a.m, and I got up and drove to my then girlfriend's house and woke her up and played it for her. And she goes, "What is this?" I said, "I don't know. I just wrote it." and that was it. That's all it took.
Man, that's awesome. Let's take a quick break.
Songs ever since.
You've been writing songs ever since. It's what happens. It happened for me at 10, so you had a little bit less agony in your life than I've had, because it does live with you. It wakes you up in the middle of the night, and at some point you do learn to temper and to live sort of in the middle. But what a journey that you have had so far. Let's take a quick break. We're with Ken Hart. We even hadn't talked about his Jesus is Cool but Christians Creep Me Out book. We're going to dig into that in a minute, but I'm just love getting to reacquaint myself with Ken and let you guys get to understand what a beautiful Mississippi soul he is. Speaking of Mississippi, there's catfish made and produced right here. Why would you get it anywhere else? Go to superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. It's shining right now because it's got one of his as my guest today that continues to make America's birthplace of music make even more sense. We'll be right back.
And the days when they get all tangled, she falls up in my arms at night and just rolls with me. She just rolls with me. She just rolls. Yeah, she flung the dice and bet it all.
There's a ton of content from SuperTalk Mississippi on our new YouTube channel. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi on YouTube or go to supertalk.fm/YouTube. Be sure and subscribe for free to get the latest scoop on what's happening in Mississippi news, politics, sports, and the good.
Find your family.
Rocking into a Mississippi Minute. My man today, Jesus is Cool but Christians Creep Me Out by Kenneth Hart. Ken Hart's my guest today. That's the name of the new book. He's also got one of Lee Brice's latest songs out called Checking In. And he's got a lot going on in Nashville. Grew up in toward Oxford area of Mississippi in Water Valley, where the kudzu reigns superior. I can tell you that. Speaking of superior, oh, this is pretty good. Superior catfish. There's catfish, there's superior catfish. I just did the math. And visit Mississippi.org. Plan a road trip to your Mississippi. Ken.
Yes,
all
sir.
Right, let's talk about this book. I want to read one excerpt from it real quick. Our buddy, Brian Kennedy, you spent a lot of time with him. But you've had Major League Baseball players like Barry Zito. You've had, the list goes on. Our lead guy, man, are you kidding me? It's Ken Coomer from Wilco. He writes about it, but Brian Kennedy is just a special guy. He says, bullseye. Someone called out man's weak attempt to be right. Someone said it out loud and wrote it down. That takes a brave heart, H-A-R-T. Nice little play on words there, Brian. Brian's been with Garth Brooks since day one. Just a phenomenal guy, songwriter, life coach, and he's in great shape. He's in better shape than me and you.
He absolutely is in better shape than me.
Hey, so let's talk about this and what inspired you to be this vulnerable and not afraid to say this.
All right, man. I'm going to go back to 2009. So first of all, for your listeners, I'm 11 years clean and sober.
Okay, love it.
Was an alcoholic and a drug addict and really good at being that. And in 2009, I probably hadn't set in a foot in a church by then, probably in 10 or 12 years. And like a lot of people that come to Nashville, I was living in a friend's basement before I moved my family up here, and just got this urge to go to church, the next morning. And it was about midnight, and I texted a songwriter named Brian White and asked him if I could meet him at church, and he texted me right back. And it was interesting because, the church I remembered was pretty formal, and where I met him for church was at a movie theater in Franklin.
Yeah. So there's a lot of shows going on Sunday.
Yeah.
My next door neighbor was a pastor, and we went to his event at Christmas, and we said, what a show.
Yeah.
Different from my Catholic faith,
Yeah. So I go in with immediate skepticism, right? And the thing that stirred me the most was that people were smiling at each other and they were hugging each other and they were like genuinely happy to be there. And I just didn't have that experience, in the Southern Baptist thing in the 70s and 80s. It was pretty rigid. And this guy walks out. First of all, the band they had was astounding because it was all A-list session players, from Nashville.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And then this pastor walks out and he starts talking about your identity in Christ and what that really means. And he had written a book called The Power to Prevail, I think, at that time. And he had just recently been on the Today Show on NBC debating what the world considers the most profound atheist, a guy named Sam Harris. And in the elevator down at 30 Rock in New York, Sam said to him, "Dave, Jesus is cool, but you Christians creep me out." He said that in that sermon that day, and I went, well, certainly Dave's going to write this title. It's, certainly he's all over that. Well, he had a heart attack and passed away in 2012 after preaching 2 sermons that morning. And so I thought, well, somebody's got to write this. Now, that's 2009. And about 2015, I contacted his widow, and I said, hey, this title still hasn't been written, and I think I'm going to take a stab at it. And got her blessings to do so. And then started, working on it. And what I realize now, looking back, the first 5 or 6 drafts of this book were basically me venting about the abuse that I endured, in church as a little boy, and my anger at God, and you know how that happens with people. And so I never did anything with it. And then 2020 happens, and the world changes, for all of us. And Brian Kennedy, we were talking about it one day, and he said, "You know what? I've been hearing you talk about this since 2009. Write the damn book." And so I said, okay.
He's that way,
Yeah.
He's been that way his whole life. When he sort of says it's time, I've noticed from afar at the impact he has on so many.
Oh, man. So I wrote the book in 2020, and then as we do as creatives, we tend to move on to the next project sometimes before that one is truly finished. Found an editor in 21, and she was fantastic. And then I shopped it all of 2022, and I had some offers from big publishers, honestly, to take it, but the deals were just so bad. Mm-hmm. Frankly, it didn't make business sense for me. So I put it back on the shelf, and honestly, dude, in the end of September in 2023, it just hit me one day. I was working in the yard. I'm fixing to put it out. So I got on and did the cover creator and all that jazz myself, and just threw it up on Amazon. And it's been so much fun, man, since it's been out. The guys that wrote the reviews, thankfully, have some credit and some clout around the planet. And so that always helps, right? And then I had people like Tony Wood, who's still currently written the most number ones in the Christian music format.
Yeah, Big Dove Award winner.
Yeah,
multiple times.
Big writer in that field. Met him in 2021, and he was kind enough to lend his thoughts to the project. And it's been so much fun. I tell you, when I fly, Steve, I'll take copies of it and I'll put it in the bestseller slot in the airport bookstores. And I write a note in the front of the book. This is a gift. They don't know anything about it. And there's an email address in the front of that book. And I've started over the last year getting emails from all over the country.
That's brilliant. I love that. I love it.
Yeah, and people are finding it. People are talking about it. And then recently hooked up with Andy Ray, whom you've had emails from as a publicist. And she finally read it, and she's on fire about it. And, man, I'm just excited to have somebody else digging in.
This is a book that will never go out of style. So, you're in this marathon, really, to be honest with you. It's so real, and it's, like I said, you went deep in the vulnerable category.
Right.
Which is obviously you and I both know as songwriters as I put my wife's glasses on. I can't see you if I'm looking at the screen. I won't admit that I need them yet. Listen, through his wit, wisdom, and relentless vulnerability, Ken has broken down barriers that religion has built up between a wonderful, loving God and us well-intentioned, yet self-destructive human beings who need him most. Barry Zito, two-time Major League World Series champion, Cy Young winner, a 4-time All-Star. The list goes on and on. These are the incredible reviews that you have gotten in your book and testimonies, and I just think that pretty much says it all. Let's take a quick break. This is Ken Hart, guys. The book is Jesus is Cool, but Christians Creep Me Out. Please check it out on Amazon. He's a Mississippi man, and I have really I'm really grateful that we've gotten a chance to connect today and reconnect from a long, long way back, that we have memories that we're probably not allowed to share on radio. So we'll take a quick break. Superior Catfish, homegrown and produced right here in Mississippi, just like Ken and myself. Go to superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. Man, so many wonderful things up in that Water Valley area. It's God's creation for sure. It is a beautiful place. And obviously they've created some really awesome athletes and musicians up in those neck of the woods in Mississippi. Go to visit Mississippi.org. I'm Steve Azar. We'll be right back with Ken Hart.
$20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi.
From the SeabrookPaint.com.
In a Mississippi Minute with Steve Azar, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Oh man, I'm enjoying today. Really wonderful man in Ken Hart. His book, Jesus is Cool, but Christians Creep Me Out, is out. And it's on Amazon, and I love it when a guy turns down major publishing companies and wants to eventually just do it himself. That's been the availability of streaming and self-publishing and all this stuff that goes hand in hand with this. And there is a piece about doing your own thing. I've been making my own records. I left the big monster label back in 2006, and I've never looked back, and I've enjoyed my journey so much more. And it's been a peaceful one, and I feel like I've been producing the best art of my life and the stuff that mattered the most. So I get where Ken is. And speaking of where Ken is, if he would move back to Mississippi and make his way toward Hell State, he could have some of the best catfish around, or he can get it delivered to his door at store.superiorcatfish.com, and so can you. And visit Mississippi.org. Man, we love celebrating the arts. We are the birthplace of it all when it comes to music, inspiration. Our natural resource truly is our arts and our farmland. I believe that. Yeah. The Gulf Coast and the mighty Mississippi and everything in between. The world has been forever influenced by us, and so be proud of that. All right, so Ken.
Yes, sir.
You start when you well. First of all, I've got a number of friends who have are very, they're not afraid to talk about what they used to be like when they were drinking and abusing, right? And in fact, one of our biggest donors to my foundation's from Greenville, South Carolina, and he's 27 years sober now. And I told him, I said, and it's funny, we met on the golf course. I was his BMW celebrity partner, and he said, I told him, I said, I can't imagine you being any other way. And he was a really good athlete growing up, still a really good athlete, hits it a mile. He goes, well, yeah, you would not have been my friend. You wouldn't have liked me. And I said, I just have a hard time ever thinking of you any other way. And he goes, you would have hated me.
Yeah.
And he goes, so he talks and speaks. You speak as well. You go out and do a lot of engagements like that. Is that part of your deal with the book, or did that come with the book?
Yeah, well, it kind of started with being in recovery, quite frankly. And then now that we have the book, we're trying to put together now with Andy and the team, you know, a little production, more or less, of where I go out and speak about the book, and then I do a little short set of songs and tell stories. And man, I'm a storyteller at heart, so we're working on getting all that together now that my team is coming together. As you know, it's challenging to make it all come together on your own. So, but yeah, I started doing speaking engagements with the 12-step recovery stuff pretty soon, probably about a year into that. And it's probably the most fulfilling thing I do is invest in other people that are in the middle of that storm and wanting to get out of it. I spend a lot of time in the recovery community in Nashville. And it's a great place to be sober. It's also a great place to party, you know. But, man, since I've been sober, and I got divorced in 2016, I believe it was. Since all of that stuff has happened, my life is richer than it's ever been. My friendships are way more genuine than they ever were. My songs are better. I got this book out. I've got 2 more finished and 1 in progress.
You're on a songwriting roll. It's what happens when you get your life in order.
Well, you get your life in order, but you surrender it all.
Sure.
Like I write with a lot of young kids that come here, and it's like, man, you cannot possess these songs because there's thousands written every day here, and we're all competing for the same 8 slots every hour on the radio. It's insanity, really. But I wrote this song, Steve. I try to watch The Passion of the Christ every year before Easter. And I had been, quite frankly, away from Music Row for about 6 years because post-divorce I had custody of 2 of my 3 daughters. My oldest was already gone. And so I went back to work in the corporate world and was being a dad and trying to learn how to live and help my girls stay acclimated. I kept writing the whole time, obviously, but I wasn't on Music Row. And in 2021, I was watching that movie, and the scene in that movie, if you've seen it, where they're flogging Jesus and beating Jesus.
Yeah, it's so real.
I started seeing my face in the crowd of the onlookers. And dude, I started weeping, and this song just was there. The whole thing was there in less than 3 minutes. And I thought, well, now what are we going to do? You know, we don't write these kind of songs. And I knew one publisher, Curb had just merged with Word Publishing, and Word was a big Christian publishing company, and I had a good friend down there. So I just sent it to him, and I said, you know, I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's any good. I don't know how it measures up to all the other stuff because I don't listen particularly to that genre of music. And the first thing he asked me, he picked up the phone and called me, and he says, where have you been?
That's so good.
I haven't seen you.
You've been living and learning.
But that song landed me in a room with Tony Wood to write a song. It was the song that put me back in full-time Music Row songwriting. And it's just crazy how and I remember saying to God, you know, if this is where we're going, I don't want to do it like I did it before because I lost my identity. I lost, you know, my family. I was out on the buses, you know, running the roads with Randy Hauser and all those guys and trying to write songs on the road, which you know is virtually impossible.
Very hard.
Because of the time demands on the artist and all those things. And I was just lost. And I said to God, all right, if we're going to go back and do this, I'm going to go in, I'm going to write these songs the best I can write them. I'm going to give them right back to you, and I'm coming home. And that's what I've been doing since 2021. I've had more fun chasing songs down there in the last 4 years than I ever did the entire time before.
It's really interesting to hear you say this, but it makes sense to me. This book makes sense to me, where you are in your life and why things start to really work out. I really feel like your faith is so important. I'm a believer. You got to realize, I'm a Catholic kid who has watched a lot of fallible moments in our church, some that you can't even begin to want to understand. You can sit here and point your finger and all that, but I think that it's important that we all realize, and my wife's been really good about making sure that I don't stray. This is about you and your relationship with God. It's about nobody else. We're all human. No matter what position you hold in life, the temptation of the devil is real. This is about you and God, and that's it. It's been really, really good. And we also made a pact. In New Year's resolutions, we get together and sort of rehash our year. And she said, let's don't miss Mass. When we're on the road and you got gigs and you got all that, let's don't make an excuse. Let's make church the most important thing that we do. And it's been really enjoyable the last handful of years. Now, we've missed a few times because it was impossible. And we felt bad about it. So we had the Catholic guilt and all that. But I tell you what, man, I just love where you are in your life. And it's inspiring to me. You and I are having this talk on Monday. It'll air on a Thursday or Friday and then re-air on a Sunday, which makes all the sense in the world.
Nice.
But you are setting my week off with reflection and important stuff that I'm going to live my week thinking about our conversation. Let's take a quick break. We're with Ken Hart. What did I say? The book is Jesus is Cool, but Christians Creep Me Out. He is from Mississippi, a Mississippi-made product who has figured his way out through life, and he is just basically... he's rocking right now, and it's a beautiful thing. And this place he is, and this sense of place. I know one thing, Mississippi has inspired him and influenced him like it has me, and it gave us a plethora of inspiration for us to continue to get to do what we get to do. Also, visit Mississippi.org. Don't forget to check them out. We are the birthplace of America's music. Ken's keeping that tradition alive. And Superior Catfish. There's catfish and there's Superior Catfish. Head on over to SuperiorCatfish.com. Really enjoy getting to know. I'm talking too much to Ken Hart, my guest today. His book is Jesus is Cool, but Christians Creep Me Out. But he's got me really thinking. And sometimes I'll start running my mouth too much and I don't let my guests speak. So I apologize for that. But he's got me all excited today. Speaking of excited, I appreciate my friends over there in Macon, Mississippi, producing The Catfish. Head on over to SuperiorCatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. Been with me since the start. As your music and culture ambassador of Mississippi, I urge you to plan a road trip to visit us. For so long, I sure ought to know what it finally feels like to be doing it right. I saw the light, sun came up in the middle of the night. Been doing it wrong for so long. I sure ought to know what it finally feels like. I sure ought to know what it finally feels like. I sure ought to know what it finally feels like to be doing it right. Still trying to find my way.
Up to $20,000 available for first-time home buyers. Hey folks, Steve Azar here. Helping is the heart of our friends at Guarantee Bank. They offer programs like the Home Buyer Equity Leverage Partnership Grant that can assist qualified first-time home buyers with up to $20,000 towards down payment and provide home ownership counseling to empower you on your journey. These funds are first come, first served. Learn more about this program and to apply now, go to gbtonline.com. Guarantee Bank, member FDIC.
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music, Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now.
We've sent that rip van
Right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Really enjoy getting to know. I'm talking too much to Ken Hart, my guest today. His book is Jesus is Cool, but Christians Creep Me Out. But he's got me really thinking. And sometimes I'll start running my mouth too much, and I don't let my guests speak. So I apologize for that. But he's got me all excited today. Speaking of excited, I appreciate my friends over there in Macon, Mississippi, producing The Catfish. Head on over to superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. Been with me since the start. As your music and culture ambassador of Mississippi, I urge you to plan a road trip to visit us. All right, Ken, what's the next chapter in your life? Pardon the pun. And as you're rolling with this book, and you got this publicist, Andy. She's great, by the way. She's on the case. I mean, sort of, what's the plan?
The plan for this book, obviously, is to get out and share it as much as possible and to share it in person. The one-on-one encounters, the speaking engagements, I know you do some of those, as intimately as we can, getting this message out that's in this book, which is that your relationship with Christ is not defined by any organized religion. And when we throw our identity into Jesus, all the other labels that we've carried around
goes away, fades away, man.
Matter. They do not matter.
They do not. They've never mattered. Look, if we can't look at people and see that when there's compassion and empathy in them, and that they believe, we're all striving for this.
Yeah, man.
A lot of people just don't know they're striving for it. They're lost in this la-la land. Still got friends and family that are still searching, and I pray for them every day that the intercession will happen, and so we do go there. There's a TV series out. One of my dear friends, Jackie Flynn, plays in a show called Loudermilk. Have you seen Loudermilk at all?
Yeah.
Peter Farrelly's production, incredible man. But Jackie has said that the impact that show has made, because there's comedy, but there's so much serious stuff on the world of AA, it's been phenomenal. And Peter said of everything that he's ever done, and he did Green Book, which was phenomenal. And he said that this was the most important work of his life. And so he's had to fight Netflix and fight whoever, all these streaming services.
Right.
This is one I've got to have because this is touching people and it's making a difference. It's moving the needle.
That program gave me life.
Wow.
One of the main things of that program is attraction rather than promotion. You'll never see a commercial for it. You'll never see it tied to a political campaign. None of that. Attraction rather than promotion. And I write about that in this book. If I'm told, even today, after all the life I've lived and the recovery and the different perspective on things, if somebody tells me I got to do something, I generally rebel. I don't like to be told what to do, right? But if I see Steve Azar modeling his life after Christ in, Galatians 5, it talks about gentleness, self-control, patience, against these things there is no law. If I see Steve Azar doing that, that's attractive, right? And you didn't promote it, you didn't sell it, you're just living it. Then I'm more apt to come along beside of you in that process.
Yeah,
but if you tell me I have to believe that, then I'm going to say, well, let's go down to the levee and talk about this for a little bit.
Can we drop a line in the water while we're down there?
Yeah, well, we can drop a line and eat tamales and whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I got some tamales in my refrigerator right now. We serve those at my show that I do for Viking Cruise Line down here at EE Bass. We had one last night, and that's part of the cuisine.
I miss those tamales, dude. I'm just telling you, they're the best.
They're so good.
It's about it's just about one-on-one encounters and people realizing who Jesus says they are, and that's where all the power is. Freedom in Jesus.
I've had the best time getting to talk to you. You know, Mississippi Minute, you know, you've been there. It only lasts so long. It's a little short guy.
Yeah,
so it moves a little slower than New York Minute, but I can't thank you enough for taking the time, Ken.
Thank you, man, and I hope to see you sooner than later, dude.
We're going to make sure of that now. Ken Hart, guys, the book, H-A-R-T, by the way, the book Jesus is Cool, But Christians Creep Me Out is out everywhere. So, you know, go to Amazon and just be done with it and get it, and you'll love it. Ken is a special guy, a really wonderful, wonderful, prolific, prophetic songwriter. He's one of ours in Mississippi. Speaking of Mississippi, Superior Catfish, homegrown right here. Come on, go to superiorcatfish.com and visit Mississippi.org. That sounds like a song to me. I'm Steve Azar. We've been with Ken Hart. Later on.
I'm Steve Azar. In a Mississippi Minute, all 60 of them, where you can take your sweet time.
Listen and watch all your favorite SuperTalk Mississippi shows live and on demand. Listen to tons of music. Plus, get the latest breaking news from across the state with the SuperTalk Mississippi app. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Download the SuperTalk app on your iPhone or Android device now for free. Just search SuperTalk Mississippi in your app store on your mobile device to get everything Mississippi all in one place. The SuperTalk Mississippi app. Get it now. A SuperTalk Mississippi Media production.